All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In today's review, we have the HyperX Pulsefire Haste. This is a new mouse that I recently just got, and yeah, I know it's another mouse. But I'm a bit picky when it comes to mice, so I need to find the one that's right for me. So far, this mouse has been really good. We're gonna get into all the details about it, but first off, we're just gonna start with what comes in the box. So let's get straight into it. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you are new. And if you want to see more videos from me, make sure to turn on those post notifications so you know exactly when I post a video and you can be the first one to my videos. Anyways, let's get into it. All right, so first we're gonna get into a couple things that come inside the actual box. So when you open it up, you obviously get the mouse, and you also get some mouse grips and some extra skates in case you need to replace them or whatever. I do have one of the grips on the actual side of the mouse on this side here, and I also have them on the left and right clicks. I don't have it on this side. I don't really like putting grips on the side of the mouse where the side buttons is. This is just for like any mouse, not just this mouse. That's just a personal opinion though. But the grips feel really good. They're really grippy, and if you like mice grips, you'll definitely like these. The coating is really good on the mouse, so it's not really like it's necessary. But if that's your thing, then it will be very good for you. And that's basically about it. You just get some manuals inside and, you know, all the boring stuff. So now we can talk a little bit more about the weight and stuff. So the mouse is 59 grams, which is really surprising seeing this from like a HyperX mouse. Obviously, it has the honeycomb design on the top. It does not have any holes on the sides. I know a lot of people don't like that. For me personally, I kind of like it because it gives the sides of the mouse a bit more grip, but on this mouse it is not there. We do have them on the bottom though, so really nice to see that HyperX is you know, listening to the lightweight mouse community, and they definitely gave it to us. 59 grams, really good. Another thing most mouse companies struggle with is keeping the build quality up to a high standard when having a honeycomb design. This mouse, I mean, I am literally like, I'm putting so much force into it, and there is no creaking, not a single creak. Maybe on the bottom plate, like a tiny bit, but you have to really push hard on that. There's literally no creaking on this mouse. The build quality is really good. So props to HyperX for that. The build quality is top tier. As you can see on the bottom as well, we do see PTFE feet on here. They feel really smooth, glides really well. As you can see on my mouse pad, it just literally sends the mouse flying almost. This is a Aqua Control Plus, so it is a hybrid pad, but you can see how much the mouse is gliding on my mouse pad. It is really good as well. The sensor is at 3335. Now, I heard some people were like, you know, speculated about this. You know, it's not really a top tier sensor like a 3360 or 3389. The only drawback to the sensor, it performs fine in game. I have no issues so far. But the only thing is that the DPI is not 100% accurate with the sensor. So if for example, if you feel like if you play on like an 800 DPI, it might feel like 840, so you might want to turn it down a little bit from your original DPI. So that's the only drawback, but any performance issues, I haven't seen anything. It performs perfectly fine other than that little DPI thing, but yeah, it still works perfectly fine. Talk about the cable a little bit as well. As you can see, the cable is really thin. It actually doesn't even fit in my mouse bungee. I'll try to put it in for you guys. It literally, like, it'll stay in, but it just kind of just falls out. Because that's how thin the cable is. But this is probably the best cable I have ever seen on a mouse. Like any other stock cable versus this is just like amazing. You pretty much don't need to replace this cable. I mean, this is probably one of the best stock cables on a mouse. I would compare it to like the Endgame. Endgame has one of the best stock cables as well. So I would say this mouse and the Endgame mouse cables are probably one of the best. Now let's get into the side buttons and the left and right clicks. There's pretty much no pre-travel on the side buttons, no post-travel either. They feel really good. It does have this like glossy kind of finish. Now this could be a drawback for some people. For me, it's not that bad, but I guess if you have sweaty hands, then this might be a problem for you. It might slip on the side buttons sometimes. For me, it's not too big of an issue, but the side buttons still feel very good. And for the left and right clicks, we do also have TTC micro gold switches, which are aftermarket switches, which don't normally pop up on any mouse like this, which is really surprising to see. There is literally no pre-travel, maybe a tiny bit of post-travel. Same thing for the other clicks as well. There's pretty much no post or no pre-travel. There is a tiny bit of post-travel, but that's not too big of a deal. Nothing that you would feel in game. It feels really good in game, and these clicks just feel so like crispy compared to like Omrons or something. They just feel really, really good. I love them a lot. I'll give you guys a quick sound test as well. So yeah, those are the sound tests for all the buttons, including the DPI and scroll wheel. So about the scroll wheel as well, I didn't get to touch on this. We do have a little bit of RGB on it, which you can control in the software, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But the scroll wheel feels really good. It's, you know, nice and tactile. It's not too tactile, kind of like a G502 or something. It just feels really nice. It's not too stiff as well, not too light. It's kind of like perfect, like the perfect stiffness. And it feels really good, no issues with it. And let's get into the software a little bit, show you guys how you can control the RGB and all the settings of the mouse. So unfortunately with HyperX software, you have to get it from the Microsoft Store, which I don't really understand why. It's kind of like a Windows app now, but that's just what they're doing with this. I would prefer it to be like an actual software that you install. We do have the lighting options here. You can change the opacity, you can change the color, you can change the speed of the pulsing, or you can just leave it to one color if you would like that. So you can, you know, manage your effects here. For all the buttons, you can do your macros, you can assign it to keys. We have 6 programmable buttons, including the DPI button. You can program that to a different key if you want to, which is what I did. But for the sensor, you can obviously change the DPI. So once again, if you're running like, for example, 800 DPI, it might feel like 840. So you might want to drop it to like 770 or 760 or whatever. I play 600 DPI and I dropped mine to 550. That kind of feels around the same DPI. But yeah, just a note on that, it will feel a little bit faster than your original DPI. So you might want to drop it down a little bit. But that's pretty much about it for the software. There isn't really much to it. It's pretty simple. Unfortunately, it goes through the Microsoft Store, so it's like a Windows app, which I don't really like. But it is what it is. It works perfectly fine. You can also adjust your polling right here. Obviously, have it to 1000. If you don't, you're just weird. And we'll get into a little bit of the gameplay with it and the shape of the mouse. Alright, so now talking a bit more about the shape of the mouse and the dimensions of the mouse. We have some gameplay in the back. Going to be showing you some Fortnite gameplay and some Aim Beast gameplay. So for the width at the rear, it comes in at 6.64 centimeters, and at the width of the front, it is 5.99 centimeters. With the width in the middle, 6.16 centimeters. The length is 12.25 centimeters, and the height is 3.75. So you're gonna have, so obviously you want to measure your hand to make sure it is around the same size of this mouse. And I would say palm grip is not a good idea for this mouse unless your hands are on the smaller side. But if you play claw or fingertip, I would say this mouse is really good for you because yeah, just palm wouldn't be that good if you have a big hand, just because the shape of the mouse is not really ideal for that. It is an ambidextrous mouse, so obviously no room for lefties, especially since there's no side buttons on the other side. But yeah, it's not an ergo mouse or anything, and it does give a nice spot for your finger to you know, it gives you kind of like more support on the rear since it goes out wider at the rear of the mouse. So it does feel really nice in the hand for that. And I really do feel like HyperX did a really good job with the shape of this mouse. You know, it doesn't really take too much of inspiration from any other mice. I would say the closest to this could be maybe like the Viper Mini or the regular Viper Ultimate. That's the only thing I can really compare this thing to. It kind of has its own unique shape, and it's just a really good shape overall. And as you can see by this Aim Beast gameplay, I did, you know, beat a lot of my scores, which were previously set for the Hati S that I used to use. But that mouse was kind of too small for me, which is why I moved to this mouse. And yeah, as you can see, no problems with it, with tracking and aiming with it. It was really, really good. So yeah, this mouse does come in at $69.99 Canadian, which isn't a too bad of a price. It's kind of in the middle of like a Glorious or like a Razer Viper. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video and it helped you decide if you wanted this mouse or not, make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you're new. And I'm out, boys. Peace.